The road ahead for Kentucky basketball is not for the faint of heart. Under the leadership of new head coach Mark Pope, the Wildcats are diving headfirst into one of the nation's most grueling non-conference schedules, an ambitious slate that reads like a who's who of college basketball powerhouses. But rather than shy away, Pope and his new-look roster are embracing the gauntlet, using it as a proving ground to forge their identity and test their mettle against elite competition. Kentucky, a program steeped in tradition and championship pedigree, is entering the 2025-26 season with more questions than answers. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it's the perfect backdrop for a campaign filled with opportunity. Pope's vision is clear: build resilience through adversity and let the intensity of the schedule bring out the best in a young, hungry team. The Southeastern Conference has steadily grown into a national force, with programs like Alabama, Tennessee, Auburn, Arkansas, Florida, and Texas A&M pushing the envelope and raising the standard across the board. The road through the SEC will be tough, but it's what lies outside the league that truly sets Kentucky apart this year. Things kick off with an October exhibition matchup against Purdue, the current top-ranked team in ESPN's preseason poll. While the game won't count in the standings, the stakes feel real. It's a high-level preview at Rupp Arena, where the Wildcats will square off against Braden Smith, a Player of the Year hopeful, in front of a charged-up home crowd. A mere tune-up? Not exactly. It's an early litmus test for how this team handles size, skill, and pressure. From there, the challenge only intensifies. In November, Kentucky heads to New York City for the Champions Classic to take on Michigan State, a perennial powerhouse sitting at number 1, 20 in the preseason rankings. The bright lights of Madison Square Garden and the intensity of the national spotlight will offer Pope's team a high-stakes environment to grow, adapt, and learn. December brings no reprieve. Kentucky travels to Nashville to take on Gonzaga, ranked number 1. 23 and known for their strategic flexibility and veteran coaching. It's a chess match waiting to happen. Then it's back home to face Indiana, a storied rival in the midst of a coaching transition under Darian Dare. They may not be ranked, but don't be fooled. This is a team with potential and pride, and they'll be eager to spoil Kentucky's momentum. The gauntlet continues with the CBS Sports Classic, where Kentucky squares off against number 1, 3 St. John's. Young, explosive, and fearless, the Red Storm are led by a wave of talent that could pose serious problems if underestimated. It's the kind of game that demands 40 minutes of focus. After that brutal stretch, the Wildcats get a moment to regroup when they host Bellarmine at home. While this might seem like a step down in intensity, it serves a strategic purpose, a much-needed window to recalibrate before the SEC-ACC challenge arrives to turn the heat up once more. As the calendar turns toward winter, Kentucky's gauntlet of a non-conference schedule shows no signs of easing up. In fact, the stakes are only getting higher. After already preparing for top-tier matchups against the likes of Purdue, Michigan State, Gonzaga, and Indiana, the Wildcats now find themselves on the brink of even more high-octane showdowns. Depending on the draw for the SEC-ACC challenge, a potential clash with either Duke or North Carolina could elevate the difficulty of the schedule to a historic level, pitting the Cats against 2 of the most decorated programs in college basketball history, both sitting comfortably in the preseason top 25. But amid all the glamour matchups, there's one game that defies rankings and analytics: the annual showdown against in-state rival Louisville. The battle for the Bluegrass is more than a basketball game. It's an emotional flashpoint, a cultural event that splits Kentucky down the middle. No matter where the Cardinals stand in the polls, this is a game loaded with intensity, played under the bright lights and deafening pressure of the KFC Yum Center. Mark Pope knows that well. This isn't just another date on the calendar, it's a fight for bragging rights in a rivalry that's over a century old. By the time the non-conference stretch wraps up, Kentucky could realistically face 5 or even 6 ranked opponents before even setting foot into SEC play, and the league slate won't offer much relief. With programs like Tennessee, Arkansas, Florida, and Auburn climbing the national ranks, the Wildcats will be tested on a nightly basis. But Pope isn't blinking. Since taking the helm in Lexington, he's made one thing clear: there are no shortcuts to greatness. His vision for Kentucky centers on building a team that thrives under adversity, one that views every game, win or lose, as a stepping stone toward March. And if one game on this schedule encapsulates that philosophy, it's the upcoming CBS Sports Classic matchup against Rick Pitino's St. John's, set for December 20th in Atlanta. On paper, it's a clash between two top 15 teams, both hungry to make a national statement. But the deeper narrative adds a layer of emotion and significance few games can match. This isn't just Kentucky versus St. John's, it's Pope versus Patino, a reunion 3 decades in the making. Back in 1996, it was Patino calling the shots and Pope captaining the Wildcats on their way to a national title. Now, 30 years later, they'll meet again, this time on opposite sidelines, under the lights of State Farm Arena, affectionately known to Big Blue Nation as Catlanta. A recently released FaceTime call between the two coaches offered fans a candid glimpse into their mutual respect and shared history. It's been 30 years since you won your first national championship, and I won mine, thanks to you, Pope told Pitino. In classic fashion, Pitino replied with a smile. Feels like it was 7 or 8 years ago. The game, part of a doubleheader that also features North Carolina versus Ohio State, will be broadcast nationally on CBS and Paramount+. For Kentucky, it's more than a marquee game. It's a celebration of legacy, leadership, and evolution. The Wildcats come in looking to improve their record in the CBS Sports Classic, which currently stands at 5-6, with momentum from back-to-back wins over Duke and UNC in previous editions. For Pope and his squad, the path ahead is anything but easy, but that's the point. With every test, whether it's against Purdue's dominance, Gonzaga's precision, or Louisville's pride, this Kentucky team is being forged in fire. And if they come out the other side battle-tested and sharper, it won't just be a tough schedule. It will be the foundation of something special.